בוקר טוב, עולם שטוח 11. טוב, היום אני רוצה לדבר, היום כן, תמיד חובה תאריכים, כי אנחנו לא יודעים הרי מתי העולם יסתיים. אז ככה, היום 5/8/2022. לאחרונה יש, איך אומרים, התפוצצות מדהימה של טיקטוק ועולם שטוח בטיקטוק. משהו, אני אשכרה, איך אומרים, כבר כל כך זקן, שאיך אומרים, שאני כבר, איך אומרים, לא עוקב, כן, כשאני דיברתי לקירות ב-2015, איך קוראים לזה? והייתי מחפש סרטוני עולם שטוח, היו עולים 1,000-2,000 סרטונים בכל הרשת. היום בטיקטוק יש כמה וכמה חבר'ה צעירים איך אומרים, בניסיון לעשות משהו מצחיק וקצת כסף בטיקטוק, אז איך אומרים, מפרסמים עולם שטוח, וגם שמה מדהים, הם נתקעים בכל מיני, איך קוראים לזה, כמו שאנחנו נתקעים פה, כן? בכל מיני חסימות למיניהם. עם הסרטונים שהם עושים, הם מרוויחים כסף והם שמים אותם על מוניטייז, אז הם מורידים את המוניטייז כי הנושא בגלל כל מיני פיצ'פקס שקופים, יעני אשכרה, יעני כל הארגון הפשיסטי הבינלאומי לא עוצר לרגע, יעני בכל מקום התמנון, כל הזרועות, בכל מקום זרוע ובכל מקום שליטה ובכל מקום מודיעין והשכרה, איך אומרים, וגוגל וכל הסרט טרף, יעני. עכשיו יצא איזה, הורדתי 2 שעות של איזה בחורצ'יק, יעני ממש, איך אומרים, מצחיק וציני ביותר, עד כדי כך שכאילו באמת נראה שאיך אומרים, הוא אומר שרק 10 חודשים או לפחות באחד הסרטונים שמעתי שם קיצר, הוא מתעורר עולם שטוח חדש. עכשיו זה כמו הסימון שנפל לו, ואתם יודעים, הוא לא יכול שלא לראות את ההונאה, עד כדי כך שהבן אדם לא מפסיק לפלוט הוכחות לכך שהעולם לא יכול להיות כדור. טוב, בואו נראה כמה קטעים שלו.
Now everybody knows who this guy is, Bill Nye, the failed actor. Everybody seems to remember the clip of him saying that boats going over the horizon and disappearing from the bottom up prove that the Earth's a ball, but nobody seems to remember this clip.
What I want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go. The Earth is a closed system.
You may ask, what does he even mean by that? The Earth's a closed system. He's talking about the firmament. How do we have gas pressure with no container? Seriously, think about it. It's as easy as that. Why do you think they say the sky's the limit? This is exactly what Bill was talking about, and also what this person was talking about.
We weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you. It's got about 18 million cracks in it.
No one's getting past the firmament. Nobody's going to Mars anytime soon. And nobody's allowed to independently explore Antarctica. And I'm gonna show you why.
Our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight and say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being.
This is what you have to believe. If you think that we're on this ball orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour, chasing it at 500,000 miles per hour, this isn't the truth. If we're doing that and all of the other stars and planets are too, how do they realign every year, every 365 days? What you're seeing here isn't a mirage, and what you're seeing here isn't real. But if you really want to know if the Earth's flat, the easiest way to tell is flight paths and emergency flight path landings. Stare at these pictures too long, you'll be a flat earther pretty quick. But if you still want to deny that the Earth is flat, then have a good time on your spinning ball. If you actually wanted to know the shape of the Earth, all you'd have to do is read this book right here. But for all you Globers that I'm sure you're not gonna, I'm gonna go over a couple pages in it. The first flight is to Australia for the Gold Cup. From Argentina and Brazil, 2 teams from Argentina and Brazil flew to Australia for the Gold Cup in celebration of the 200th anniversary of Captain Arthur Phillip. Now, this should have just been a routine flight over the Pacific Ocean to go over to Australia, but I was told that the flight had gone from Rio to Los Angeles. Wow, Los Angeles! And it did because, remember the title of the book, Emergency Flight Path Landings. So you want to know what that would look like, huh? Yeah. Thousands of miles, but on a flat Earth, flying right over it. Second one in the book. China Airlines Flight 008. A Taiwanese woman lied about her pregnancy and how far along she was. She was 36 weeks. You're not allowed to fly after 32. She told them that she was 30. They had to emergency land because she started giving birth literally mid-flight. So just another routine flight, right? Taiwan to Los Angeles, and they land in Alaska. And if you look at the timestamps here, just read this paragraph, and you can't refute it. There's no way they could get to Alaska. So here's the flight. It's like, doesn't make any sense. Like thousands of miles up here to Alaska. It's like they were flying right over it. But to be honest with you, I can just do this all day. Auckland to Lima, Peru. Again, landing in Los Angeles. Like, seriously, guys, look at this. Look at this. Here's another one. They land in Moscow, all the way up here. Why didn't they land down here? It's because we're on a flat Earth. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. They're all the way up to London. Wow, really? And flat Earth. Flat Earth model. Makes sense. From Argentina to India. Yeah, from Argentina to India. And they land in Amsterdam. Completely skip Africa. Yeah, and then you look at it on a flat Earth, it just makes sense, as always. But if you're wondering, like, why would they do this to us? Why would they lie to us, saying that we're on a ball? Just need to compare these real quick. Just look over these real quick. Love these points. No evolution. No Big Bang. It just gets rid of all the bullshit when you're on our model. Oh, and created by God. We came from monkeys. Yeah, that's the whole point. They want you to feel insignificant, like you're a speck of dust in an infinite expanding space. The Earth's flat. Now, I've been in your shoes before, literally staring at my phone thinking that flat earthers were stupid. For this video, I'm hoping I can help you out to understand why flat earth isn't as stupid as you thought. And for starts, it doesn't look anything like this, or this. We're not on a floating disc in space. No one's gonna be falling off the edge of the Earth anytime soon, so stop asking for pictures of it. Things get really weird when you just look into the details of all of this space and rocketry. The SR-71 at its top speed starts to tear apart, but I'm supposed to believe this, which is not aerodynamic at all, can go 22,615 miles an hour? If flat Earth is so stupid, then why are all of the most powerful organizations in the world using it as their logo? You guys may know who this guy is. Wernher von Braun. He's literally responsible for the rocketry that got us to the moon that we supposedly can't replicate and destroyed. When he passed, he left us this nugget on his headstone. Psalms 19:1, which reads, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork." Why would he put a Bible verse about the firmament on his headstone if he sent man to the moon 239,000 miles away? You guys probably remember the Challenger STS-51 crew. All of these guys unfortunately passed away on a rocket that crashed and blew up. And simultaneously, 6 out of the 7 are found alive today and kicking, and all of them are identical twins, supposedly. I'm sure you were taught in school that, the mantle, the crust, how thick the earth is, the core, everything like that, the molten lava that's swishing around the core that supposedly causes the poles to shift constantly from the north to the south pole, both of them shifting constantly, so nobody can ever actually go to the exact. It's so stupid. But, yeah, it's bad. We've only dug 8 miles down, and then we hit an impenetrable barrier. Kind of like bedrock in Minecraft. Sure, you hear this one all the time. It's one of the best arguments for flat Earth against the globe. But, gravity? I always thought it was a fact. It's not. Gravity is not a fact. Regarding the natural law of attraction, this material should be approached with an open mind, studied carefully, and critically considered. The universal theory of gravity is often taught in schools as a fact, when in fact it is not even a good theory. Uh-oh. So here's another big one, why everyone thinks this is all fake. Here is a Photoshop hand tool on a photo of Earth from Russia, apparently. In the $1,000 Illuminati card game, there is a card, Flat Earthers. People laugh, but the Flat Earthers know something. Why is Elon Musk tweeting stuff like this? But what do you think? Flat or round? Explain the horizon. How does that work on a flat Earth? Well, to explain the horizon, why don't I just explain why the luminaries in the sky, like the sun and the moon, why do they set? They're not setting over a physical curvature of the Earth. Perspective is everything. These lights aren't going down. They're not getting shorter. It's just due to perspective. This is what happens when objects go away. So as the moon gets farther away, it's probably going to look very similar. And then eventually it'll get to a point where it vanishes, called the vanishing point. And I'm sure you're curious, why can't I see Mount Everest from everywhere in the world? Like, sure you're thinking that right now. Stop thinking that. Because there's a vanishing point, and also the atmosphere is opaque, so you can't see forever, because light just doesn't travel forever. If you were just on my live and you're wondering, why did it end so abruptly? It's because I'm being censored again. And it's suspended, so make sure to follow my second account right here. If I decide to go live tomorrow, I'm gonna go live there. But also, if the Earth's not flat, then why does the Georgia Guidestones have a hole in it that's set on Polaris 24/7 every single day and night? This hole sat on Polaris, like, until they knocked it down. Like, seriously, think about it. We're on a ball that's wobbling, processing, spinning, orbiting, and chasing the sun, and this little hole is perfectly... If you haven't heard, yeah, somebody blew up the Georgia Guidestones last night. Now, to be honest, I'm split both ways. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. Yes, the rocks did have to keep the populations under 500 million written on them, but they also had a hole that stayed on Polaris all the time, and I used to use it to prove the Earth was flat. Like, I doubt it's still aligned. If somebody could check, though, let me know. But if there's a 24-hour feed of the Georgia Guidestones and we got it being blown up, where's the video of the people that planted the explosives? Take that as you will. But this just goes to show that they're putting the truth in your face. UN's flag is a flat earth map. Here's a tweet by Elon Musk literally hinting that we didn't go to the moon, because it makes no sense. The timeline makes no sense, guys. We haven't gone back. It's 2022. When we do things, it gets easier, so we should be going back more frequently, but nobody seems to be able to go to the moon. We're skipping the moon and we're going to Mars now. And you guys already know how I feel about Mars. I'm sure you're aware of their Illuminati card game. Yeah, it's in there too. People laugh, but the flat earthers know something. I'd say I could be wrong, but I'm not. I just know it's flat. I know it's flat, level with hills and valleys, and yeah, it looks something like this. And not like any of this. Yeah, look how different all these look. Different sizes of continents, different color continents. This is all computer generated images. I'm sorry to let you down. Sorry.
וואו. משהו, זה אשכרה, איך אומרים, הגרסה טיקטוק ל-200 הוכחות שהעולם לא יכול להיות כדור של הרג דובי, עוד לא הייתם שם בסרטון הזה. כן, אני יודע. רוב האנשים שמגיעים פעם ראשונה לפה, איך אומרים, ממש לא הגיעו במקרה, וגם שאתה מגיע לסרטון כזה, לעולם לא יהיה לך אפילו גם במומלצים ליד עוד סרטון של עולם שטוח. לא? תבדקו אותי. איי. נו, ומה אתם אומרים על ההוכחות של החברה החדשים האלה שאנחנו רואים לאחרונה? חבר'ה צעירים איך אומרים? ברגע שיורד האסימון, של חוק כלים שלובים, זה אשכרת כדי כך מפגר, כן? כל השאר ברור, כל מה שנשאר זה להיות בן אדם חזק ועצמאי, ואיך אומרים, לא להיות חננה, כמו שהרבה, איך אומרים, אקדמיים הם חננות כאלה, לא להיות חננה, ולעמוד איתן על איך אומרים, על האמת, אבל אני מבין שאנחנו כבר, איך אומרים, אני כבר 7 שנים מאז ההתעוררות שלי, אני מבין ששוב, הפשעים של הסיסטם, כמו שאנחנו רואים ב2-3 האחרונות, מגפות ההוקוס פוקוס, אני כבר לא מדבר על כל השטויות של נאסא. הבחורצ'יק פה מדבר על זה הרבה יותר ברור ממני, והרבה יותר קליל ממני, כך שאני לא יודע. ודרך אגב, שוב, אני לא שם תרגום, גם כי אין לי כוח לשים לכם תרגום, כי הרי זה לא, הסרטונים האלה של הבחורים האלה, הם לא פונים לאנשים שאיך אומרים, שלא יודעים אנגלית. לא בעוד שכולנו יודעים אנגלית, כן? אבל איך אומרים, זה לא תירוץ שאין תרגום לא להסתכל על הסרטונים ולא להבין במה מדובר, כן, אנחנו יודעים שבאקדמיה אתם אשכרה בסך הכל, איך אומרים, מה לעשות, אתם לא יכולים לכעוס עליי בעניין הזה, אתם עוסקים בפסודו מדע, זה ידוע, כן? הרי לא יהיה לעולם, אפשר לטעון שהעולם שלנו והימים שלנו הם כדור של 40,000 קילומטר היקף, כן? שאין שום הוכחה או שום... להפך, ההוכחה היא שמים תופסים פלס, זאת אומרת, חוק כלים שלובים זה חוק טבע. אז אתם יודעים שלהתעסק בתיאוריות, גם אם למדתם 30 שנה, אסטרופיזיקה, שפיזיקה, מיזיקה, ווירוסים, שמירוסים, קירוסים. הבנתם? כן, אני יודע. זה קצת שוק, כן? אני יודע. בעיקר אם אתם מושקעים, באמת. יש חלק שזה שוק בשבילהם, ויש חלק שלא. יש חלק שפשוט מאוד לא אכפת להם, ממשיכים לקבל את המשכורת המדהימה מאיפה שהם עומדים בשביל שקר. אז איך אומרים, בוודאי שאקדמאי, מדען, 20 שנה, 30 שנה קריירה, ירוויח יותר ממני, למרות שאני אשכרה יותר מדעי ממנו, כן. לכדי כך הגענו, 2022. במקום ללכת קדימה בזמן ולהתקדם בטכנולוגיה, אנחנו הולכים ברוורס, בטח. מה זה רוורס? כמה? 50 ומשהו שנה לא חזרתם לירח, אחרי שהייתם 7 פעמים שם, או לא יודע כמה, 5 פעמים. וואי 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 וואי. נאסא זה גם ארגון איך קוראים לזה? שהוקם על ידי נאצים. כן, 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 זה לא משהו שאני ממציא, כן? כתוב לכם, ברור לכם. לא רק האמריקאים הביאו נאצים כדי לנהל להם את ההונאות הכי גדולות, גם הרוסים, וכמובן שהם שולטים בכל העולם. הם מכירים הרצון העז שלהם לחבר את כולם לסדר העולמי החדש, הם קוראים לזה הנאצים. מאז ומעולם, גם הנאצים קראו לזה סדר עולמי חדש. אז מה, כדורים מעופפים ועוד איך קוראים? תאכלו את אלברט איינשטיין המשוגע שלנו, כן? שאומר שאין שום הוכחה ויזואלית או ניסויית לתנועתה של הארץ. עם זאת, אנחנו יודעים שהארץ עוררת סביב השמש. אלברט איינשטיין. עוד פעם אני אחזור על העניין? כי אני יודע, אתה יודע, מרוב הרבה שנים באקדמיה אתה כבר לא מבין דברים פשוטים. אם אדון איינשטיין אמר שאין שום דרך לזהות את תנועתה של הארץ, זאת אומרת שאין לך שום הוכחה שהארץ נעה, אז איך אתה יכול לטעון שהארץ עוררת סביב השמש? נעה סביב השמש. יש קפיץ'? הבנתם שאפילו, איך אומרים, איינשטיין הוא הבן אדם בעצם, הוא הכי ליצן בעולם ולא הכי חכם בעולם. טוב, בסוף תבינו את זה. ביי ביי.
You have heard of the Michelson-Morley experiment, right? Yeah, the experiment that proved we're not elliptically orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. The data of Michelson-Morley were almost unbelievable. There was only one other possible conclusion to draw, that the Earth was at rest. Thanks, Bernard. But let's find out, what was the Michelson-Morley experiment and how did it disprove that the Earth was spinning around the sun?
Michelson and Morley devised an apparatus that would detect minute differences in speed between two beams of light. Light from one source is split into two directions through a half-silvered mirror. These beams are bounced between other mirrors and then recombined back into a single beam. When two light beams combine, if their waves are completely synchronized, the peaks combine to make an even more intense peak. If they are one half wavelength off, their peaks combine and cancel out the intensity. Slight differences in speed between two light waves will therefore produce a pattern based on the amount of interference between the two beams. This is known as an interference pattern. Examining the interference pattern from the two light beams sent out in different directions would clearly show if the speed of each light beam were different in different directions. But Michelson and Morley never detected such a difference.
Even with a simple Google search, you can see that this did prove that the Earth, in fact, is stationary. Michelson reasoned that if the speed of light were constant with respect to the proposed ether through which the Earth was moving, that the motion could be detected by comparing the speed of light in the direction of the Earth's motion and the speed of light at the right angles to the Earth's motion. No difference was found. But just because I know this is a tough topic and I really need to drive this one home, here's another clip explaining how this proved that we definitely aren't on a ball chasing or spinning around the sun.
The first light beam was pointed westward because it was the presumed direction of the Earth's movement around the sun. The second light beam was pointed northward and thus away from the direction of the presumed moving Earth. The first light beam should have been affected by Earth's movement through space if the Earth is moving around the sun at an accepted speed of 66,000 miles per hour. If so, the first beam would have traveled slower than the second beam of light. But that didn't happen. Both light beams traveled at nearly the same speed. According to Michelson, the first beam traveled only about 1/6 of the speed needed if the Earth was moving around the sun.